Hi, my name's Kyle Shaw, and these are the most common questions I get as a former Jehovah's Witness. This video is dedicated to Mr. Jumpman. You know who you are. So what we're going to try and do here is take the most commonly asked questions I get as a former Jehovah's Witness, and I will answer them interview style. And here we go. So question number one.
All right, question number one. What started you to even disbelieve in the doctrine?
To tell the truth, what started me disbelieving as a Jehovah's Witness was me just sitting down and thinking about what life meant and where I was going to go. I guess all teenagers go through a certain phase where you just feel sort of like things are changing or expanding, or you can do anything and you can be yourself. And for me, it was an emptiness, sort of a feeling of I don't know what's out there, and I know what's out there because it's all in the Bible and God's Word and everything, and it's all explained to me. But somehow it just felt wrong. And then I sat down and I thought about it. I've been questioned on this many times on like what made me truly quit. And I just honestly sat down and thought about it for about a week, and I just finally decided I don't want this anymore. I don't believe in God. And it was a really scary thought at first because it went against everything I'd ever been taught. But when you finally sit down and think, like, do I really believe there's a man up in the sky controlling everything? Like, do I really believe in God, or was I just raised this way? Then you start to think other thoughts, and it's a scary thing because you're raised in the doctrine, you're raised to believe if you have this thought, you're a sinner because the devil brings sin into your mind, and you can't have that because you're going to start sinning, and the wicked thoughts are in your brain. So don't doubt. Doubt is the first step towards sin, but honestly, doubt is the first step towards logic, and that's why you want to use your brain. And that's why they're afraid of you doing that, because no shit, you're going to quit. If you really sit down and think about it, you're probably going to have a few thoughts like that, and it's going to bother you. Anyway, next question.
What happened the night you finally decided you were out of the religion? How did you feel emotionally, and where did you go?
Like, literally, where did I go?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, emotionally, the night I actually quit, I packed a bag, and I was afraid that my parents would have some sort of problem, or I needed somewhere to go, somewhere safe where I could feel like I wasn't under pressure from the religion or, some outside source, which I found. So I had a bag packed, and I approached my parents in the living room, sat them down, and I said, Mom, Dad, I need to talk to you. They're very understanding. My parents are awesome. They're loving, like, great people, but they're just too ingrained in that religion. So I sat them down in the living room and I said, Mom, Dad, I'm really afraid. I don't think this is right for me, and I'm sorry. I just don't believe in God. I know it's hard to accept, but it was almost like, how gay people come out to their parents. I'm not gay, but I can almost imagine what it's like to sit down with your parents and explain something this difficult to them and feel this awkward about telling them the truth about how you feel and having them reject the hell out of you. So, and where did I go?
Yes, where did you go?
Oh, where did I go? That will remain undisclosed. Thank you to that person that helped me out. Don't treat your parents as the enemy. If you are, based on my advice, going to run away from home because this whole thing gets too awkward, do not ditch your parents. Stay in contact. Let them know, it's the religion is the problem. Your parents still love you. You still love your parents. Don't ignore your family ties. I made that mistake, and it might get difficult being a Jehovah's Witness, but remember, you still love each other. You and your parents will never be able to break that bond that is between you. You will always be ingrained. Your mother and father will always love you, and even though, despite the religion and the problems and the way it pulls you apart, the elders will say one thing, your parents will believe it, and you'll say another, and it will tug at your parents' heartstrings, and it will pull. But the important thing is you remember they still love you. It's not your parents you should blame, or your relatives, or whoever family members are discrediting you or talking about you or rejecting you or shunning you or call it what you will, they still love you and you love them. Remember that. Don't let that organization come between you. It's like a glass wall, like in prison when people put their hands against the wall and they touch, you can still talk, you can still communicate. It's very little, but it's just a glass wall between you two. Don't let it break the bonds of your family, and remember, the point is that you still love each other. Don't let that run out. Next question.
For the next 6 months after you quit, what was your life like?
When I first quit the religion, I was excited. I was scared as hell, and I was depressed because my family had rejected me, and I knew that the whole world had opened up to me. But have you ever seen the movie Paul? It's funny as hell because the comparison is so similar. I was basically, as you know, if you are a Jehovah's Witness or a former Jehovah's Witness, they're not allowed to risk their lives. The body is a temple of Jehovah God. Well, as soon as you quit, you realize, oh my God, I can go skydiving. I can go doing all these dangerous sports. I can go snowboarding. I can do backflips. I can do all kinds of crazy shit. And I remember the first night I quit for real, and I was completely committed to it. I remember saying to my friends, I was hyperventilating almost. I think I literally was. I was like, holy shit. And they were saying to me, Kyle, what's wrong? Like, you're crazy. And I was saying, I can go skydiving. I can swear. I can curse. I can, fuckity shit, fuck, like, woo! I can do whatever I want to a person who has never actually had freedom of thought. When you've been raised in a cult your entire life and you finally break free and you realize, oh, what do I think about this? Rather than, like, I used to say to my mother, Mom, what do I think about this? What do I think about that? And so many Jehovah's Witnesses do that. They go to the elders of the congregation or look in the literature and they think, what is my opinion on this? And I remember the first point, I actually remember that I wanted to quit being a Jehovah's Witness. I was very young, and they were talking about homosexuality and religion. And I remember thinking to myself, if I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, I don't think I would hate gay people, because, they don't really bother me and whatever, but, guess I'm religious, so, yeah, God says hate the gays, and I should have known back then. It was in my head the entire time. I don't have hate for people like that. It was in me all along. I just was influenced by everything around me. I was living in a bubble of this congregation of friends and family, and they were all the same, and the outside world was just isolated. And that's what they do to you. They trap you in this bubble of, like, what is perfect, and everyone else is outsiders. So they say, hate what is bad.
After you quit, because you were baptized and your brother wasn't, how does your brother treat you now?
Well, now, he wasn't baptized, so obviously he doesn't suffer the effects that I do. He's still allowed to contact our family, relatives, the old congregation, anyone, whereas I'm not because I was baptized. I'm happy for him. I hope he has a good life because of this, and I'm glad he didn't get as involved as I did. Unfortunately, my parents talked me into an early baptism, which I was not ready for, and I'm warning anyone else out there, if your parents try to pressure you into baptism as a Jehovah's Witness, don't do it. Don't make the same mistake I did. Do not get baptized. Next question.
After you quit, did you actually ever feel guilt that you should go back?
No. I was sure. I don't know. People quit for different reasons. Sometimes they get sick of it. They get bored. Maybe they want to smoke weed or have sex, or I don't know. I was accused of all different things. I quit because I was just done with it. I just didn't believe in God. Something about the whole world and the universe and the way it works felt wrong to me. I just felt that I don't believe that there's a God up there. But a lot of people are forced into this belief system of you know, uh, what was the question again? Just
When you quit, did you ever feel guilt like you should go back?
guilt? No. No. I think the people that quit because I was accused of this, of sinning, or you have a girl you like, or you like smoking pot, or you like drinking beer or partying. No, I was a very faithful Jehovah's Witness all the way through, and I got into mischief and whatever, but I never did any of that sinner stuff. I was a very strict Jehovah's Witness, and then I think a lot of people quit because they want to party and have fun. It's high school, you're a teenager. Like, what the fuck? I'm not going to judge. Like, of course, you want to have fun. And then you go out and do your thing, and then maybe you come back and you feel guilty for sinning and all that, and you get back in the Lord's way, or call it what you will. But no, I never had any guilt. When I quit, I fucking quit. I was sure. Like, I just sat down, thought about it good and hard, and I was like, I'm out. Fuck it, I'm out. Next question.
Do you ever feel like you can't deal with your past as a Jehovah's Witness?
At this point in my life, yeah, I feel I can, and that's what I'm doing right here. I'm relaying and relating to other people that might be going through the same thing as I do. But at one point, yes, I did give up, and I have to admit, I spent the night in the hospital because I took a bunch of pills, and I wanted to off myself. I was so depressed, and I felt so lonely and so rejected by the world or the Jehovah's Witnesses, as either way, it's one or the other. There's black and white with them. And in real life, there's a whole spectrum and variety of people and friends you can have, and people that will understand and love you throughout your life. You don't need that core group that's this narrow window from your beginning of like your parents and your friends and family you grew up with as a Jehovah's Witness. It sucks losing them, but you have to realize that although they're this little bit, there's this whole world out there of people, and you can pick and choose what you want. You actually have the freedom of choice to decide who your friends are. I've been asked 3 times, and still I'm having trouble with this. You know what? Honestly, it's the most difficult part is quitting, and you're going to feel very alone. But there's people like me and others out there that there's going to be links down below to different groups of people that you'll meet on Facebook. You'll meet all kinds of friends. And when I quit, I spent 10 years ignoring the past and pushing it away because I was just like, I don't even want to deal with it. And only now have I begun to accept and realize that there are thousands and thousands of people out there just like me, just like you, that might be doubting or wondering or scared and worried and feel very, very isolated and alone. But don't worry, the world is not the enemy, and Jehovah's Witnesses are not the enemy. They like to put these groups together that seem like one or the other, when really, we're all just people. We all love each other, and there are so many good things out there for you. Don't give up. I guess that's the most I can say. Other than that, message me. And if you're really struggling with this, please talk to me. I've been through it, and I'll talk to you back, and I'd love to hear your responses.
If you could tell your family anything, what would it be?
Okay, I didn't expect that. Well, I would say probably the same thing that any one of you out there experiencing what I am would say to your family. Please don't reject me. I'm sorry. I love you. Remember all the good times we had. Um, that's a tough one. I miss you. Me personally, I would tell my parents and family that I just wish we could sit down, have a barbecue, sit down around the dinner table. All those times as a child that I despised sitting down at the table because I would miss my favorite TV show or whatever, and we'd sit around the 4 of us and just talk. And now as an adult, of course, I miss that, and I really regret not taking those times for what they were. I took them for granted.
Do you feel that parts of the religion have helped make who you are today?
Definitely yes. The funniest thing of all is that the preaching, the going door to door, and being up on a podium. I don't know if ever you've been to a Kingdom Hall or not. If you're an ex Jehovah's Witness or a member or whatever, but you know what it's like where they stand you up in front of everyone. They bring up your podium and they adjust it and they get your Bible and then you begin speaking and they adjust the mic and you give your whole 5 minute talk. I've given many of them as a teenager and as a youth, and I know what it's like to be a shy person because I'm extremely shy to tell the truth. But speaking to you right now, I'm just looking at a video camera. I hope I'm reaching you, who I'm speaking to. But to be trained in that lifestyle, of course, you're going to grow up, you know, they comment on whether your gestures are good or your speaking ability or your connecting with the audience and each member and addressing each person individually, like you and you and you. And that's how they work. They train people from an early age to speak and to basically bullshit their doctrine. So thanks, Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm going to use this shit against you and tell the truth to the rest of the world. So, fuck you. Next topic.
What advice would you tell someone who is thinking of quitting the religion?
Okay, this is where free will comes in. This is a difficult one because I personally, obviously, am against Jehovah's Witnesses and against religion in general. I'm an atheist. Humans need to allow each other to be free and to express themselves and to do what they want. And if you want to do what you want, go ahead. I condone everything you do unless it hurts another. Basically, treat others the way you want to be treated. You'll have to look up the quote yourself. But I really believe strongly in this, and I've been answering questions all night long and debating on the internet online. I'm very tired. I need to go to bed. Point is, if I could sum everything up, this is a great last question to have, because the point is, if you treat others well, you'll be treated well, and no one will get hurt in the end, and that's the way we need to be as human beings to one another, and I don't think we'll have any problems if that's what we do. So if anyone has any questions, comments, anything they want to say, leave it in the section down below. Please click like, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you next time, and please message me personally if you're dealing with any of this stuff. I don't want you to feel alone, because you're not. Thanks for watching and have a great night. See you next time on K-Style Update.